Chan. I'm a movie geek and also a productivity geek. And my goal for the show is for you to have a quick look as to what are the things that are worth watching on Netflix or basically anywhere online so that you can save your time and go do amazing stuff with your other free time. So, one of the things that actually I'm very passionate about is for you to balance like doing all of the things that you're passionate about, but at the same time being productive and doing a lot of things for your career, for your work, for your business. I don't think it needs to be like a zero sum game, like wherein you're investing all of your time to your business or investing all of your time like doing all the things that you love for fun. I think you need both in order to live a happy and a great work life balance. So I really don't like those advice that I usually hear from some productive personal development people, like don't watch TV. I like to watch TV, but I'm also a very productive person. So yeah, enough with that though. So basically, if you love movies, TV series, and if you also love being productive, then this show is for you. So stay tuned. Today we're going to talk about best horror films in Netflix to watch. I feel like July 2021 is such a good time for horror. I feel like I've been watching horror films and horror TV series for the past 2 weeks. I actually asked my husband that we need to take a break for a few days because I'm already having nightmares. So, yeah, let me know if you can hear me, just making sure that we are um, good live and you can hear me and see me clearly. It is 11:04 p.m. in the Philippines. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly check in the Facebook timeline or wherever you're watching. So I am live both on Facebook and on YouTube. No, I can't hear myself. Can you hear me? No, I don't think there's audio. Wait, let me see. Hmm, or maybe, yeah. I'm in the wrong speakers. Okay. Okay, I can hear myself now. All right, so we are on. Okay, if you only have one movie to watch this weekend, it's going to be definitely Fear Street, which is weird to say that it's just one movie because it's actually a trilogy movie. So, but I think you can watch Fear Street, the first one, and then you're still okay. I feel like it's still kind of a complete film. But if you have time, you gotta watch the entire trilogy. So Fear Street is based on the book by R.L. Stein, and you probably know him from Goosebumps. So I am a huge fan of Goosebumps. I used to read them all the time when I was in grade school, and that's when I first found out that I love this choose your adventure thing because Goosebumps used to have these books wherein you have to choose your own ending. So I remember having this like option whether I should answer the phone or not. And if I should answer the phone, go to page 58. Anyway, so it has nothing to do with Fear Street. I just kind of like remember Goosebumps and R.L. Stein. So the movie is rated 16. I've got some feedback from not a lot, but I've been reading some threads on the Nerdist Facebook page, I think, about Fear Street, and they really like the movie, except the Twilight kind of teenage romance, which is expected from an R.L. Stein novel or R.L. Stein, a horror film based from R.L. Stein because it's for teens. But the movie is R16, and I have to say, I really enjoyed watching it. I actually did not expect that it's coming out. My husband was the one that's like looking forward for this horror film. But so I'm gonna wait, I have my kind of popcorn here. I definitely recommend watching it. It's definitely worth watching, especially if you love 90s music, everything. It's Fear Street 1994. It's the first film. And that's actually the okay. I'm gonna give it a 4/5 popcorn. The trilogy in itself, like the second one was, I think, good, and it is in the sense the classic horror film. The third one is an origin story, so it's a really hard kind of origin story is very hard to tell, and you will see the trailer on the last part of the second one, which is Fear Street. The second one is 1978. So I don't think it's spoiler, but you will see all of the characters coming together. So it sounds very exciting. But I think the first one was really good for a slasher film. You know, it has a best combination of like the classic slasher film with kind of new twists of the characters. Plus, did I already say that that the soundtrack is amazing? I already have it on Spotify. So yeah. So I think even if you don't watch the second and the third one, you'll still have a very good and satisfying time watching this slasher horror film. So yeah, that's kind of like my main recommendation. So have you already watched Fear Street? If you have, please let me know what you think about the film. Okay, I forgot to load all of my stuff here. So we're talking about Fear Street. I actually have a live stream that I need to produce at in 50 minutes from now. So I thought that this is a good time to also do the productive popcorn. It's Friday night. Friday night is movie night. Just as I was actually before I was gonna do this live stream, we are watching Blood Red Sky. Is that the right I'm gonna share my screen so I could show you some graphics and stuff from IMDb or maybe Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see. And Chrome tab. Wait. We're gonna go to IMDb. And which website, by the way, are you using to check the rating of movies and TV series? For me, I just so for very quickly, I check Rotten Tomatoes because I feel like it's better to gauge the rating for like fresh and rotten, because in IMDb it's kind of hard to tell. In general, like 6 to 10 movies are pretty good, and anything below 5 is basically a waste of time. So I'm gonna share my screen and let's check what's on IMDb. All right. Uh, so let's see. Okay, so we're gonna check Blood Red Sky. I already checked it in um hmm, oh, it's 5.9. It's 70%, so it's considered fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and in I think it's a German film. Let's see. Yeah, Blood Red Sky 2021 and 5.9 rating in IMDb. That's not bad. It's a horror action thriller. And so far I'm really enjoying it. It has kind of like the uh flight plan feels. There's this mom getting into an airplane. There's a flight that they need to get to. There's some kind of, oh, I just noticed the um poster, like her reflection. I did not notice that when I was checking earlier, and also on Netflix. I think this is the poster on Netflix. That is brilliant. Okay, so yeah, you gotta watch it, and I think you can tell from the poster what it is. It's all about, but there's a lot of twists and turns in the film, so you gotta watch it. I think for now I can't say for sure whether it's like a good one, because I think there's still 20 minutes left before I finish the film. I have to cut it short because I have to do the live stream. So let me know what have you been watching recently. It doesn't necessarily need to be a horror film. It's just that my husband and I are big fans of horror. I think he is bigger fan than me. He likes gory horror stuff, while I like kind of thriller type of horror. And speaking of horror films, there is a new film from Jordan Peele. Okay, let's see. It's called Nope. Right, Nope. So of course, the first one, well, probably not his first film, but the first famous one is Get Out. Wait, let me see. Anyway, so where did I see the news about like a movie film, a new Jordan Peele film? Anyway, so speaking of, let's go back to the topic at hand, which is horror films on Netflix. So Resident Evil, Infinite Darkness. Okay. Let's see. I actually didn't see the rating on this one because anything Resident Evil, I just watch them without question. So it's 5.9. Okay, the video is playing. I hope it's not affecting the bandwidth on my live stream. Um, stop. Is there a way to stop it? Okay. Uh 5.9. Let's see in Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. Anyone has watched Resident Evil Infinite Darkness? Let me know. I think it was good. Like it's 4 episodes. I could always, use any Resident Evil content basically is good. Well, actually that's not true. The Resident Evil, the last film, I think was unnecessary. And I always put whenever they use like Resident Evil Final blank, then you put a quote on final because it's like with Resident Evil, nothing is final. So wait, yeah, Resident Evil is 5.9, and that's actually pretty good for like 6.2K ratings. Oh, I haven't rated all of the stuff that I've been watching yet. Of course, if you're not a fan of Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, I maybe will suggest to skip it because you have other things to watch on Netflix that are really good right now. Definitely Fear Street is the talk of the town. Um, okay, it's not horror, but I just recently finished Sweet Tooth, and I think it's one of the best, if not the best, Netflix TV series right now. I mean, like everything is just so great. The characters, the setting, and how they set up each episode, and they're really good scenes that will, you know, um, leave you breathless and you're at the edge of your seat all the time. And the main character is just like very good casting. You will just fall in love with Gus, and yeah, really good TV series. I think it's 8 episodes, and each episode is like 40 minutes long. So it's kind of a commitment. I think we finish it in 2 weeks. Okay, so we've got Fear Street. So we're talking Fear Street, but it's 3 films. So I feel like that's a lot to get you started. And there is a new Kingdom film on Netflix as well. We haven't watched it yet, but well, let's see what's the rating. So this is from the Kingdom, um, the Korean one, but it's film. So like I'm not sure how it's all related. Tragedy, betrayal, and a mysterious discovery fuel a woman's vengeance for the loss of her tribe and family in the special episode of Kingdom. Ooh, it's a special episode. July 23. This is the one, right? So anyway, because the first and second Kingdom TV series, they were great. I mean, it was such an amazing zombie TV series from Korea. I mean, like films from Korea is like great anyway, but it's a totally different take in the zombie genre. So I was like in love with it, and it was one of the TV series that I binge watched as much as I can or as much as I could. Okay, all right, and so for Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, we're gonna rate it 3/5 popcorn. It's gonna probably 2/5 for people who are not a fan of Resident Evil, but I'm not sure. Uh the story, by the way, is revolves with Leon and Claire, so they kind of like have separate stories in the TV series, but they all connect as with any Resident Evil franchise. So yeah, and I think I mentioned this in the last week episode that we're in, like when you're watching a Resident Evil, anything Resident Evil, especially actually the animated one, you'll have this feeling that you're watching like a really long cutscene and you're waiting for your turn to kill the zombies, but that turn never comes because you're watching a TV series, an animated one. So it's not as satisfying as like playing the video game, but definitely still very fun. And Leon was depicted in differently depicted differently in this TV animated TV series. So I don't want to give spoilers, but you know, Leon is in his coolest form in this TV series. Okay, so what else did we have in? So last night we watched Don't Breathe. So it's not a new film, but there's a second one coming out that Carl just wants to watch. And I'm not such a big fan. I mean, it's like, oh, wait. Okay, it's not on Netflix, but I call this kind of like a breakout horror film. Let's see what's the rating. I forgot the title. I think it's called Till Death. Um, and it stars Megan Fox. I was really irritated by the first few scenes of this horror film, but it turned out really good. It's like, yeah, it's called Till Death. It almost feels like an indie horror film. So a woman is left handcuffed to her dead husband as part of a sick revenge plot. Unable to unshackle, she has to survive as two killers arrive to finish her off. You know, when I read that and when I saw the first part of the film, you know, it almost sounded like really stupid. But I was at the edge of my seat, and basically they did so much with something so little. And 5.8 seems to be a fair rating, but I was surprised I enjoyed this film. And you know, it's good to see Megan Fox again. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's good to see her. I feel like her acting is still the same, but uh, yeah, you gotta watch it. I guess if you're a fan of Megan Fox, and if you're, you know, if you like that horror film, it's not kind of like a stuck in the cabin in the woods type of film, but it has that, you know, feeling trapped and you have to get away. So that was like really fun to watch, and her character is someone that you would root for actually. Except in the beginning, you know, because you're seeing Megan Fox as Megan Fox, I think, in the beginning, not this character. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how it felt to me. Okay, so let's see if I know there's like a what to watch list. What to watch? I feel like I had watched more horror films, but maybe they're not in Netflix this July. But I know there's tons. Everything new. Okay. Everything new on Netflix in July. Let's discuss this, and then we're going to wrap up the show with some productivity tips, as always, because it's not productive popcorn without the productivity tips. Okay, so let's see. Is there a way to categorize this like by genre? Everything coming Netflix July in. So anything you find interesting, just let me know. Um, Charlie's Angels. I haven't watched this one yet, but I know that the reviews are terrible, so I don't think I'm gonna waste my time there. Ooh, the game. Ooh, the game is definitely a must watch. It's a classic. Definitely not horror, but it's thriller. And I remember really enjoying this film, and I remember feeling stressed out watching this film, which is great. Like for me, I can usually tell if something's good is if how stressed out you are. Because when I was watching Game of Thrones, I was like really stressed out. Also, the first few good seasons of How to Get Away with Murder, I was like super stressed out. And at that time was also super stressed out at work. And I would say, my life isn't so bad because I'm not Annalise. Ooh, Starstruck is on Netflix. Um, Terminator 2. Ooh, Underworld is also on Netflix. Um, Zathura. Yeah, so Fear Street, 1994, part 1. And they actually released the Fear Street like one each week. So like such fun, like to get 3 movies in 3 weeks. Like like a new really new movie, because I mean you get all of the movies every day all the time on Netflix. Yeah, so this is it. Resident Evil Darkness, Infinite Darkness, Fear Street Part 2. Ooh, How I Became a Superhero. This sounds interesting. 5.8. While superheroes have assimilated into Parisian society, a new drug gives superpowers to mere mortals. Yes! I almost forgot. This is the third film that I wanted to discuss, a classic horror story. So it's rated 5.7 in IMDb. 5.7, 5 to 6 rating for a horror film in IMDb is actually pretty high. And for myself, I'm gonna give it. I don't know. I'm kind of torn between giving it 3/5 or 4. You know what? I'm gonna give it a 4 because I loved the setting, and I love the new take on horror films and other. I'm not gonna say like what other themes that they discussed, but it's definitely um it's definitely fun horror movie. And the I guess the title, you can have some clue, a classic horror story. So wink wink. uh and I'm kind of obsessed with its artwork as well, and the house. Yeah, you can see the house here. That's just so hauntingly beautiful, like really great horror house. I wonder if they're listing that in Airbnb, and whether I would be brave enough to book that house. But horror film aside, like I think that that cabin is really beautiful, and the whole setting, if it weren't a horror film. So okay, let's summarize everything that's on Netflix right now that you have to watch. So definitely Fear Street is the priority. Of course, there's Resident Evil Infinite Darkness for people who are fans of Resident Evil. You can skip it if you're not a fan of Resident Evil. You should probably watch it if you're also a fan of the zombie genre. I think it's enjoyable enough. I think it's even more enjoyable than the Army of the Dead, to be honest. So, and the last film on your list is a classic horror story. So, if you've got the time in the weekend to watch all of that, that's basically one TV series, 3 films, trilogy, and then one classic horror story. So, yeah. We'll definitely recommend Fear Street, the first one, if you don't have a lot of time. And yeah. Okay, so that's everything and my productivity tip of the week. Wait, I'm gonna share my screen. Can you see? If I'm sharing a tab, can you see the, or you can't? I don't think you can. You can't see the tab above here, because there's like one thing that I've learned recently. So as you know, my story, I think I've shared this, well, I've shared this week. I've shared it a lot, like my journey to from being a full-time employee to a freelance writer and video producer. um One of my like easiest tips that I've discovered recently, because most of the time I'm working like on a script for a video or a blog post, and I have to keep coming back to that document every time until it's finished and published and no more revisions. So what I do is I bookmark that specific document on the tab. It's weird that you can't see the, like, it's only showing the actual tab. So it's not showing the bookmarks tab and then all of the other tabs. Ah, I know. Wait, I'm going to share my screen again. So you can see it. I think it needs to be a window screen so that you can see it. Um, okay, there you go. So here I have like, so this is the article that I was working on earlier. This is basically done. Um, and I pin or I bookmark this Notion doc because I've been working on it, I think, for the past 2 days or 3 days. So I keep coming back to it. So instead of like going to the email or to the Google Drive and then going, so it's like it's for, I think it saves me maybe 4 clicks, and that 4 clicks and if you have to do those 4 clicks every single day, like for a bunch of times, that could probably end up for a total of 3 minutes. And sometimes you might get distracted when you go to your email, and then oh, a new email comes in, and then you kind of forgot what you are looking for you're looking for that document or for that Notion page. So I keep all of the things that I'm working on right now, and then I remove it once it's done. So I'm actually going to remove that here and all of the other things that I use. So I use Clockify to track everything that I do that's related to my freelance business. And this one is also my freelance sheet. This is a sheet that basically my husband manages, but anything that I need to, like expenses, money that are coming in, I put that here. So it's a sheet that I use a lot, and I want to make sure that I'm on track with my income goals, so that's why it's there. So time and money, those are two very important things that are directly related to productivity, because the more time and the more money that you have, the more freedom you have in terms of, the more productive you can be, because you are able to focus on the things that are very important to you. Yeah. So basically, that's my tip. I don't know if you find that like mind blowing. I just adapted that tip recently. Like for, I think I've been using that for the past 3 weeks, and it was really helpful for me. It saved me a ton of time. So if like, a few clicks each day, each hour, every day for a few months, for a year, that's like a lot of minutes added, saved. And yeah, so that's my tip for the week. So I've also mentioned like a bunch of tools. So Clockify is free. So I will definitely link as well in the comments and the video description on YouTube of all the tools that I'm using. And of course, I'm using BeLive to produce the broadcast. I kind of I have a lot of branding. So like snowfall is not kind of a holiday thing, but so I thought, but I thought I'd show that for you. I actually have my productive popcorn thing um overlay, which I totally forgot to include. Yeah, so thank you, BeLive, for this amazing tool that you have. and it's my favorite tool for going live and everything. Now I can't wait to this snow reminds me of the holidays, so I can't wait to use it for the holidays. And so I'm going to link that below as well. And if you need help producing live shows, if you're a tech founder and you want to leverage the power of live video, but you're not sure exactly how to do it, I'm here to help you out. So I'm going to link as well to my website so that you can see everything that I do. And if you're a business owner that also needs all of the other content pieces, such as writing, voiceover, so I totally do them. My goal is to be your content machine from script writing to doing the actual videos, like this one. Okay, I'm going to link to all of the tools that I'm using into all of my services as well in the comments and the video description. Thank you so much for watching. Now I get to sign out because I have to produce a live stream for a client. Thank you so much for watching and happy binge watching. Have a great weekend. See ya on the next